Hey people, Kuddlesnot here with the third DLC episode. This is the final one of DLC, at least. And today we're going to cover the multiplayer DLC. So in DLC episode 2 and 1, we already went over all the single player DLC, which was Tomb of the Lost Adventurer, outfits for Lara in the single player, as well as upgrades, which are stupid, don't buy them. And now we get to the multiplayer. Multiplayer is a bit of a misnomer, though, considering multi, quote-unquote, implies there's a decent number of people playing, which there just is not. Bottom line, it's a half-hearted Uncharted multiplayer, so if you have PS3, go that way instead. It's only, $20 now for Uncharted 3, and it's worth price of admission just for the multiplayer. That being said, though, it does have a few moments. It just doesn't shine overall. There are 3 different kinds of DLC, though. Skins/characters, Hitman Absolution weapons, and map packs. Just like the single-player DLC, there's also discounted bundles, but no overlap this time, at least within the bundles themselves, although there is across, editions of the game, like Survival Edition. So when it comes to almost all DLC for Tomb Raider, there's a very basic fundamental problem. The game has no automatic compatibility function. In most games that have a map pack or similar to the DLC, there's an obvious issue when somebody without the DLC tries to play a game with someone who has it. Most games either automatically limit what can be played by the person with the DLC, aka Call of Duty, or provide a free update that allows people with the DLC to stay and play with people who do, even if they cannot explore the new content, aka Borderlands. In the end, the result is the same. People with DLC can still play the game with people that do not have it. Why am I talking about this simple thing? Because, of course, Tomb Raider does not have this system. If you have any DLC content downloaded, you cannot automatically play with another party with different DLC or none installed. On Steam, it's actually impossible. On consoles, you have to manually turn DLC content on and off in the options / matchmaking. Again, this is only on consoles and never bothered to fix it on PC. Helpful if you want to play with your friends and you can coordinate with them so you can make sure you have the same things enabled or disabled, but that's not that helpful when you're just trying to do general matchmaking with random people online. With such a small community playing, it's hard to justify making the number even smaller by buying the map packs, because you won't be able to play with people that don't have them. On Steam, with barely anybody playing and no compatibility fixes, just don't buy them. Literally, I sat for half an hour on a Saturday, 7 p.m. or so pretty high traffic time, I would think, and the most that ever came in was 2 people, and we never got a match started because the minimum you need to start a match is 4.
Didn't anybody else me?
You won't really ever play online with the DLC, really, which just makes it a waste of money, unless you have a small group of friends who also have the same DLC to play with. If you're on a console and you have to buy something, I guess I could live if you bought the Caves and Cliffs pack. It has easily the best value, with 3 maps instead of 2 or even 1, and is usable in all game modes. All the other maps are only usable in free-for-all. I really have nothing to say. It's the least popular game mode, although there's still some people that play it on Xbox and PS3. It just isn't worth the money. Just don't spend the money, for the love of crap! I have issues with map packs in the Call of Duty, and people still buy the shit out of those, but at least those have workable, usable content. These are, the worst of the worst, but at the very bottom line, at least they're not $20. Whew. But here they are. Despite them being map packs, quote-unquote, except for the one pack that only has 1 map, the maps themselves cannot be bought individually. The Caves and Cliffs map pack, again, is the best one if you really want some more multiplayer maps. It includes 3. Caves, Cliffs, and Village for $4.99. By far the best value. Unlike the other maps, though, these can be played on all game modes, like I said before. And to top all of that off, all the official descriptions of the DLC say only 2 maps are included. That's because the Caves description is truncated. Literally, it just says a network of caves at the top, and then it lists the next 2 maps, where literally just the word just the name of the map, Caves, is not there. They just didn't put it in there. Something so obviously fixable, but in every single PES release, all articles, and official description on all platforms, it's the same mistake. They didn't even care enough to tell people that there was more content than they advertised, or fix the descriptions, which are very easy for them to do. But on top of all of that, there was a trailer for it because it was the first actual DLC. And the trailer describes the game modes, maps, and content that are already available in the main game multiplayer. There's only a small 30-second portion of the Caves and Cliffs multiplayer trailer actually describes the content that's in the Caves and Cliffs multiplayer pack. It was really weird because it was like a trailer for the multiplayer mode itself, but it was advertising the Caves and Cliffs pack like it's what you were buying into multiplayer, like you couldn't do it otherwise. And it was just really weird and blatantly deceptive. And obviously that just grinds my fucking gears. Okay, next is the 1939 map pack, which includes 2 maps for $3.99 instead of 3 maps for $4.99, so $1 less for a third less content. Yeah, so obviously the value just went down. The 2 maps are Forest and Dogfight. Only available for the free-for-all game mode. Official descriptions call it Forest Meadow and Wartime Bunker, but that is actually Forest and Dogfight, so don't get confused. The next, the Shipwrecked map pack, which includes 2 maps for, again, $3.99, the Lost Fleet and Himiko's Cradle. To be fair, Lost Fleet is sorta an awesome-looking map and kind of really has the vibe of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, even though it came out way before that. It's actually really kind of cool. And the verticality of the ship and the masts really makes it a lot of fun to run around. Too bad it's only for free-for-all and nobody's playing. Alright, now the last and the least, how often do you get to say that? The Shantytown map pack, which includes 1 map for $2.99. So they just chopped off $1 for a whole less map. Which makes this 1 map $3 as opposed to 2 maps for $2. Yeah, stupid. And includes 1 map, again, Shantytown. Obviously, this is the worst value with just 1 map in the pack. And again, it's just for free-for-all. Alright, so bottom line, don't buy any of the map packs except for maybe Cliffs and Caves. Maybe. And definitely not on Steam, because you won't be able to find anyone to play with. Now, the downloadable weapons are a tie for Hitman Absolution. Some of them were like pre-order or survival edition accessories, but then they released them separately as well. Now, if you're playing online in the early levels before you have unlocked very much, they are actually pretty powerful. However, you do unlock more powerful stuff eventually, and the early game weapons are quite adequate if you ever played a third-person shooter before. And just like with the map packs, if you have the weapons downloaded and your buddy doesn't, you won't be able to play with them, and you won't be able to play with anyone that doesn't have them downloaded. So again, restricts the people you can play with online. By themselves, they're 99 cents each. They upgrade just like the regular multiplayer weapons, which have upgrades that you can unlock with Salvage, which you gain as you level up, sort of the currency. And but it's the exact same improvements that are for the other weapons. It's not like they have special upgrades. Alright, so the first one is the Silver Baller Agent 47 Signature Pistol. This one is also part of the Survival Edition, so if you have that, you don't need to buy it again. I'm in no way any sort of weapons guy, so I apologize I mispronounced this, but the next one is the Jagged P22G, which is Agent 47's second pistol, and it's the second pistol you can download. They got slightly different stats. The next is a Shotgun Agency SPS. It's the shotgun that Agent 47 uses. This one is also included in the Survival Edition. Next is the other shotgun, the M590 12 gauge, the second shotgun that Agent 47 uses. And then we got the 2 SMGs. First, the HX AP-15, which is the SMG that Agent 47 uses. This one is also included in the Survival Edition. And then the second SMG, STG-58 Elite, the second SMG that Agent 47 uses. Those are the official descriptions. Now, next is the multiplayer characters. Overall, there's 4 that are downloadable, and there's 2 that were special code Xbox exclusives. I have the same attitude towards these as the single-player skins. If they appeal to you, by all means, go for it. But I just don't often spend money on video game aesthetic things like this. And but there is a bonus, though. From what I can tell, there's no compatibility issues with the multiplayer characters, unlike the weapons or the map packs. They are 99 cents each. First is the Fisherman, which is the only purchasable Survivors character. Feel free to grab that if you want to walk around in some waders. The next 3 are all Solari characters. First is the Scavenger Bandit, then the Scavenger Executioner, and then the Scavenger Scout. Beyond those, there isn't any more that you can purchase. There is 2, however, special characters that are Xbox exclusives. First is a Zachary Levi, also known in the game as Zach. He's known for his role on Chuck, which is an awesome show, by the way. But he hosted the video series, The Final Hours of Tomb Raider, which was kind of like a dev diary of the making of the game. He's the only other Survivables downloadable character, and was only available by special giveaway by the Nerd Machine. As far as I can tell, is now defunct. You know, there's an email address that, you know, that I think they're out, and I definitely have found codes online, but of course they've been used, so it's completely impossible to get now. And again, this was only on Xbox. The other character they can get a special code to download was the Scavenger Archer. Unfortunately, I can't find a single bit of video gameplay anywhere. Quite possibly it's just another name for one of the other Scavenger characters you can already download. I do have a few artist renderings of it, though, that were like part of the bundle. Apparently, it was a code included in a special Tomb Raider edition of the 360 controller, meaning again is Xbox exclusive. Now we'll go over the bundles and packs. First is the Online Survival Pack, which includes all 6 Hitman weapons and the 4 downloadable characters for a total of $6.99. That if you bought them separately would actually be $9.99. The next is the Hitman Absolutions Weapon Pack number 1. This includes the Silver Baller, Agency SPS-12, and the HX AP-15. These are the 3 that are already included in the Survival Edition, and the total bundle is $1.99, and it would normally be $2.97 if you bought them separately. So again, the only overlap here is if you have the Survival Edition, don't buy the Weapons Pack 1 because, you'll just get the same thing twice. The next thing is the Hitman Absolutions Weapon Pack 2, which includes the JAGD P22G, the M590 12 gauge, and the STG 58 Elite. For this pack, it's $1.99, which again would have been $2.97 if you bought them individually. Then on Steam, there's 2 exclusive packs. One I already talked about in the DLC episode number 2. But again, Steam's the one place you really don't want to buy them, because there's nobody playing online, and there's no way to turn off DLC packs to deal with the compatibility stuff. So just don't, please. Just don't. So the first Steam exclusive is the Multiplayer Map Pack Bundle. This includes all the map packs I discussed together, so therefore all 8 maps. The total is $9.99 for the bundle, but if you bought them all the packs separately, it would be $15.96. Again, this is not only the worst platform to purchase multiplayer DLC, but you would have nobody to play with. Just not worth it, please. The last is the DLC collection, which includes everything here and then all the single player DLC as well. That total bundle is $19.99, but would normally be $39.74. And again, I also talked about this in DLC number 2. Alright, finally, that's everything. That's everything of stuff you just shouldn't buy anyway. Bottom line is, if you really want some multiplayer characters, by all means, go for it. I just can't recommend anything else. The compatibility issues make a small community even smaller. Weapons can be nice, but you really won't be able to use them with anybody else, and except for the Caves and Cliffs map pack, the rest of the maps are only usable in free-for-all, so they're just flat and not worth it. Maybe Caves and Cliffs if you really want some more maps to play, but the rest are just unsupported, game-breaking money suckers, man. I mean, I had some issues with the Darksiders 2 DLC, but, despite the bugs and whatever, at least the content was actually there. And overpriced or whatever you want to say, but, at least it was there. This is there, but you can't use any of it. Obviously, this is a little bit different in the Definitive Edition when everybody has exactly the same thing and there's no additional DLC for it. But we'll talk about that later. Whew. All right, man. I'm looking forward to having this Tomb Raider be done because I'm just getting all pissed off with all this multiplayer DLC and just general DLC bullshit. But 2 more to go: the multiplayer overview and all the achievements for that, as well as the Game Edition episode, which will cover Game of the Year, Survival Edition, Definitive Edition, as well as the last hours of Tomb Raider. Despite my ranting, thank you very much for watching. This has been Kuddlesnot. I'm signing off, and I'll see you again next time.